Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dreamality. Welcome to my review of Super Mario Odyssey. Is this game worth your money? Is it worth your time? Let's find out. Once again, Princess Peach has been taken by Bowser. Bowser plans on marrying Peach against her will. It's up to Mario to save her, but he's not alone. Introducing Cappy, who is after Bowser for taking his sister. In order to catch up to Bowser's ship, you'll need a ship of your own. This is the Odyssey. It's powered by moons. You don't have enough fuel to go straight to Bowser, so you'll have to go from one kingdom to the next, helping locals and collecting moons to power the Odyssey. It appears Bowser's massive wedding is affecting other kingdoms. For example, locals of the Wooded Kingdom are upset because Bowser is stealing all of their flowers. Story may not be the primary focus for Mario games, but the goofy premise, imaginative and fun characters made it a good time. Super Mario Odyssey is a 3D platformer. You can play by yourself or with another person locally who takes control of Cappy. The biggest new addition to the gameplay is Cappy. Mario can use his hat in a number of ways. He can damage enemies, use the hat as a platform to jump off of, but the biggest change is Mario's ability to possess some enemies and objects. By taking control of enemies, Mario doesn't just take on their appearance, but also gains some abilities. For example, while controlling a Goomba, you can jump on other Goomba, creating a tower to reach higher places. Goombas also don't slip on ice like Mario does. Having your hat interact with objects usually comes into play for the platforming sections or for transport. It's all introduced very simply. When I first started playing, I wasn't entirely convinced by this hat possession feature. But I gotta say, after the first few hours, I was sold. This isn't a gimmick, but instead a bridge for some very clever game design. There's more to overcoming challenges and puzzles than timing your jumps and stomping enemies. The main story took me about 12 hours to beat. There's no choice in difficulty. I found it had just enough challenge to keep it fun, but overall easy and simple enough for younger players to enjoy. The main story objectives are simple and follow a pattern. Enter a kingdom, help the locals by defeating the kingdom's boss, collect a specific number of moons to move on to the next kingdom, rinse and repeat until you finally reach Bowser. After completing the main story, there is still a ton to do. There are a total of 15 kingdoms, each with a specific number of collectibles. The kingdoms have open maps, and there's a good amount to explore, secret areas to discover, and moons to gather. To access a secret kingdom where the game is much more challenging, you'll need a specific number of moons. At the time of this review, I have collected 172 moons, which sounds like it might be a lot, but it isn't. In the game, there are over 900 moons to collect. Collecting the moons range in difficulty. Some are very easy to get, just ground pound the shiny spot. Others are more of a challenge and require some thought. It's a good balance and I find collecting them fun. By collecting gold coins, you can purchase items at the yellow shop. There is a bit of customization for Mario's wardrobe this time around, which I think is a fun addition to the game. Each kingdom also has a specific number of purple currency scattered around the map. These can be used to buy items from the purple shop. The yellow shop's items carry over from kingdom to kingdom, but the purple shop's items are unique to whatever kingdom you're in. There you can buy clothing that fits the kingdom's theme, as well as some cosmetics for your ship. There are a good amount of boss battles in the game, and I found them all fun. I really enjoyed them. Some bosses are reused, but are brought back, expanding on some gameplay formula used in the earlier encounter. There are also some old school 2D segments that are another great addition to the game. The transition from 3D to 2D is seamless, but more importantly, these segments, along with many other elements of this game, feel like a love letter to the character and the series. The controls feel good for a 3D platformer. My biggest complaint for this game are the motion controls. They aren't mandatory to play the game, however, certain abilities can only be performed using the motion controls, like having Cappy perform a 360 sweep around Mario, or having Cappy perform an extra lunge attack. These additional features won't stop a player who isn't using motion controls from completing challenges, but it doesn't make sense to me that all of the features aren't the same for players who can't use motion controls while playing on the go, or for players like myself who would rather avoid motion controls altogether. The game looks fantastic. It's one of the best looking and performing games on the Nintendo Switch. In docked mode, Odyssey runs in a buttery smooth 1080p 60 frames per second, and in handheld mode it runs 720p 60 frames per second. The team did a great job of capturing each kingdom's theme. The art style doesn't focus on realism, but instead color, lighting, and textures to deliver one of my favorite things about Mario games: locations and characters that are products of pure imagination. Just looking at the game brings me joy. The soundtrack is awesome. The music is magical at times. When you enter the 2D world, you'll hear the 8-bit soundtrack of that kingdom's theme. The game sounds great, and it's fun hearing the different voices of the locals. Here's a little glimpse of how the game looks in handheld mode. Again, it runs in 720p 60 frames per second. Unless I'm reviewing a game, I almost always play my Switch in handheld mode, and it's still pretty crazy to have such a quality experience portable. The details may not be as sharp, but I think it looks great. Mario Odyssey does just about everything right. It captures what I love most about Mario games, and that's fun. The story, gameplay, presentation, and music deliver the pure fun and joy of the Mario experience. There are some great new additions to the Mario formula, and there is a ton to do. Collecting moons could have been tedious, but I find it enjoyable and I'm looking forward to collecting more. The only complaint I have are the abilities only accessible by using motion controls. Final verdict. I say Super Mario Odyssey is an amazing game and a must-own for any Switch owner. It's great for all ages and is currently my favorite game on the Switch. That is it, you have heard my thoughts, now it's time to share yours. If you played Super Mario Odyssey, let me know how you like it. If you haven't, how does it look? I hope this review was helpful, I hope it was enjoyable. If you have any questions, ask away. And of course, thanks for watching. Just a couple more things here. If you missed my last review, I reviewed God of War. I'm a big fan of that game as well. If you're on the fence, check it out. The Dreamality News Show will continue. Episode 3 is coming very soon. If you missed episode 2, do not worry, I'll put that link down below as well. That about does it. I will see you all soon, and thanks again.